Hey everyone, got a quick kind of random topic here for you today. I was driving back from a business meeting and happened to think that something that doesn't get a lot of attention but I think has a lot of impact on kind of your overall look and how put together you are or not put together is the collar. And not so much the style of the collar, but really when you're wearing it unbuttoned, as most of us do today, whether it's one or especially two buttons like this, your collar can kind of do its own thing. And we talk a little bit about if you have a button-down collar, how that can be kind of a more casual look, and how if it's a firmer, kind of more traditional-looking collar, then it's a little more elegant, a little more dressed up. But above all of that, something that happens, especially when you're not wearing a necktie, is how does it stand up on its own? And not so much just this area, but all the way down to wherever you have it buttoned. So what I mean by that is that this one I've been wearing for, let's see, it's about 3 o'clock right now. I've been roaming around since early morning. I've been driving around a little bit, had the seatbelt across me. Shirt's getting a little frumpy looking, a little wrinkled here and there, and obviously no tie. I hadn't been wearing one the whole day. And so what happens is, depending on the fabric of your shirt and then also the collar structure, your unbuttoned look can kind of get a little casual looking, shall I say, kind of like it is right now. Or if you have a thicker fabric and something that can kind of maintain a little bit more rigidity, it holds its weight better. And what that means is that, especially without a necktie, and certainly without a suit jacket, although it's kind of a mix in that sense, I'll tell you what I mean in a second here. But without a necktie, because your tie will keep everything nice and neat, obviously, but without that, the shirt's doing its own thing, and if it's kind of a more casual and a thinner cotton, or if it's not starched a lot, it can start to get a little more wrinkled and kind of fall down a little bit. And then if you have a jacket on, that heavy jacket lapel, even though it could be a really nice coat, and even though it could be kind of an unstructured summer seasonal sport coat, whatever, just having that extra material around your neck and around the shirt can kind of weigh down that collar a little bit. And so if it's kind of a little of a casual, a little of a light fabric, it's going to not hold up very well on its own. So what does all this mean? The whole idea is that a subtlety, I think, in a lot of men's style, especially a lot of, say, celebrities, because they're an easy example, next time you see a celebrity red carpet shot, if there isn't a necktie, take a look at the collar. I bet you it's one of two things. It's either intentionally really casual and kind of falling under the weight of a vest or a jacket, or it's been starched, it's been properly ironed, and it's holding up and looking really, really good. So what you can do, and this is pretty important, I think, especially when you're ironing your shirts, if you iron them at home, I think a lot of us do, don't forget that this section is really important, because if you're not wearing a tie, it's going to really show up, right? And I don't use starch personally. I sometimes wish I kind of did when I'm wearing something like this, and it's about 3 o'clock on a weekday, and the whole shirt's getting a little worn down, because that extra rigidity from the starch would really help keep things looking really nice. And ideally, what I want when I'm wearing a sport coat and then this white shirt, for instance, underneath it, I rarely wear a necktie. And so I always button down to this level, top 2 buttons. And what I really like to see is the shirt just kind of doing this nice V, which kind of relates to the V of my sport coat. So I can't really get that if, one, the shirt fabric isn't of a high quality and a good cotton, or if it's kind of like this, where it's a little bit more summery, a little bit lighter, a little starch would have kind of helped me in this case. So something to kind of think about. It's not a real big deal. Obviously, we're kind of splitting hairs, we're kind of getting into it, but I think this is really one of those subtleties of men's style that isn't talked a lot about, and yet if you wanted to kind of elevate your own personal style, you can, and you're not wearing a necktie, you can focus on either starching a little bit, which is kind of, use a little bit, don't use too much, it can kind of damage the shirt fibers, but use a little bit of starch, but at the very least, don't forget to iron that section of your shirt, and again, just like the top 2 buttons to kind of focus on. Still iron the rest of it, I'm not saying don't do that, but make sure you don't skimp on this area, because keeping that structure of the shirt when you're not wearing a necktie is something that can really pay dividends, I think, and kind of take you in your style to the next level. So, what do you think? It's kind of an odd topic, I admit, something that isn't covered too often, but that's kind of why I wanted to focus on it and just kind of go in there and see, what do you guys think about not wearing a necktie, and does your collar, is it something you've noticed, or maybe you will now, for instance, but is it something that you pay attention to, and if so, how do you make sure that without a necktie, your shirt collar is looking good? All right, guys, hope that helped. Hope it got you thinking a different way. And you'll probably, at the very least, take a look at advertisements and celebrity pictures and yada, 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 new light, and kind of see, oh, that's a good collar. All right, we will be back tomorrow, new topic for another day. And don't forget to subscribe. More good things coming. And I have a new audio mic I'm going to start testing, because we want to continue to make these videos better and better. And there's a little bit of an echo in this studio, this office, so we're going to work on that in subsequent episodes to give you guys some better production quality. All right, thanks for watching. We really appreciate the attention, and we'll see you soon.